if you're sitting back with a big imperative for the world, it is merely common sense to say that we should put the world's largest labor force to focus on that imperative. And so the question becomes, how does our youthful population, how do we combine Africa's assets, which is a youthful population, ample land mass, potentially extensive reserves of renewable energy, and the dynamics of a largely greenfield industrial sector. And what I mean by that is that we do not, for most of the countries on the continent, have a very deep vested interest in a fossil fuel and emissions heavy kind of existing infrastructure, and can, in a sense, provide a little bit of a greenfield look forward. And how do you combine those things to then apply them as a sort of comparative and competitive advantages in this new grand activity that we will all be embarked upon, which is averting catastrophic or limiting catastrophic climate change. And I think that it is important that we in Africa not be left behind in that particular conversation for a couple of reasons. The first of which is, this is one of the, an interesting area of future opportunity in which actually, some of the lags we have on certain technologies and so on may in some ways be an advantage in that it allows us to leapfrog. But also that many of the tools and approaches that will be highlighted and are coming to the fore are ones that will likely be, as new technologies often are, be subject to some degree of rapid kind of learning loops. There's been this concept of a green vortex where, as you embark on understanding what initially is a potentially non-competitive and non-cost-effective technology or approach, you begin to realize efficiencies, and those very quickly begin to constitute an unassailable competitive or comparative advantage. And so if one is looking 10 years out and can say that 10 years from now, carbon dioxide removal will be a major sector of economic or of activity, how that's rewarded is a separate question. Then the question is, what do you do in order to have a chance at being competitive in that space, if one believes that it would be a meaningful space? All of these things, I think, critically depend on us moving to a more, I would argue, a fairer global economic approach to carbon dioxide removal, which involves identifying a fair and reasonable price, and allowing countries that do have the potential to have a comparative and competitive advantage to prosper from providing what would arguably be one of the most important services for the planet that any country or economy or enterprise can provide.